This is a story from my book entitled A Rite of Passage. During the summers, numerous carnivals visited Modesto. I remember the excitement of seeing the searchlights beaming back and forth into the night sky. They sometimes came to the north side of town, but more often set up at the old auction yards in South Modesto at the end of 7th Street. I was not too much for rides, with the exception of the bumper cars, which I loved. I was a demonic head-on crasher with the best of them. Once some friends talked me into riding the Hammer, and when it was over, I staggered out and puked. I liked playing the games too, but never won anything except for a scrawny goldfish now and then. It began when my brother Jesse came home one day with a baby chick he had won at a local carnival game. It was stuffed inside a small cardboard box, the kind they put Chinese food in. Mom hated it when we brought pets home because she knew that despite all our promises of, "We'll take care of it, Mom," she would be stuck caring for it. With old 2x4s and chicken wire, we built a small pen for the chick in our backyard. I enjoyed going out to feed it scraps of food and watch it grow. It was common for people in our barrio to raise chickens and pigs and slaughter them for special occasion, but it never occurred to me that we would ever kill and eat this chicken, especially since my mother had never raised animals for this purpose. It became our pet, so to speak. But as the chick grew, we noticed it wasn't a chicken at all. It was a turkey. It sprouted long grayish feathers, a thorny red neck, and big beady eyes. I began to fear going inside the pen to feed it, so I would pry open the gate wide enough to allow me to toss in the food. One morning, as I was fixing a flat on my bike on the day before Thanksgiving, Mom called me inside. "Ten, muchacho," handing me an old hatchet. She commanded, "Quiero que mates al guajolote." Me? Not me, Mom. What about my brother Jess? Está trabajando. Jess was always working. Though I was stunned by her command to kill the turkey, I obeyed. I took the hatchet, and like Abraham about to slay Isaac, I walked out into the backyard and timidly headed for the pen. I had often seen men in our barrio slaughter a pig by tying its hind legs to a tree, slitting its throat, and catching the stream of blood into a pail, and recall cringing from its piercing squeal, or being revolted by the sight of blood spurting from a chicken whose head had just been cut off with an axe, running wildly through someone's yard. For me, the expression that someone was running around like a chicken with its head cut off was not just a simile. However, while all of this disgusted me, I tried my best to be un hombre, as was culturally expected of me. But deep inside, I was a pacifist, a lover, not a killer, except for the birds I'd shot with my BB gun or slingshot. As I stood outside the cage, I prayed for deliverance for both myself and the pitiful bird inside. Suddenly, a giant white cumulus cloud seemed to hover overhead. I waited, but no messages or signs emanated from it. I cursed my brother Jesse for having brought this turkey into my life. Where was he now? Mustering every bit of courage, with the hatchet dangling from my hand, I slowly opened the gate and stepped inside, not having the slightest idea how I would go about killing this gigantic bird. Should I grab it by the neck and then try to hack its head off? Should I go for the heart? Maybe I could throw the hatchet at him, like they did in the movies, and hope it would stick in his chest. The turkey retreated to the far corner of the pen, eyeing me suspiciously, in tune with every movement or sound I made. We readied for war, our gazes locked in desperation, the bird never once taking his eyes off me. Oddly, I had never noticed how big the turkey was. He was as tall as I was, probably weighed as much, and here was I, this skinny, 75-pound little boy about to commit murder on a defenseless animal. Besides, I never really liked eating turkey that much. I wanted to run, to hide, but it was too late for that. Whitey, our neighbor's dog, saw me and started to bark. This was it, the moment of my transformation from boyhood to manhood, and there was no escaping it. Then, in a moment of false bravado, I lifted the axe above my head and I lunged at the creature, when it let out the most hair-raising shriek I have ever heard. He spread his enormous wings, leaped into the air, and claws bared, charged me. Clutching the hatchet, I ran for my life, narrowly slamming the gate behind me. But just as I stood safely outside the pen, my heart pounding in my chest, white with terror, languishing in defeat, thanking God for having spared my life, I saw the turkey suddenly stagger, lost its balance, and crashed to the ground. I watched in horror at his lifeless body. Had he fainted? Had he suffered a heart attack? Died of fright? I would never know. But sure as hell, the bird was dead. I looked around to see if anyone had witnessed my shame. I had miserably failed my initiation into manhood. I would be the laughing stock of the men in the barrio. But no one had seen, not even my mom. Whitey stopped barking. I apologized to the turkey. I looked up, but the cloud overhead had dissipated. There is a God, I thought. As I slinked back into the house, I said nonchalantly, "Ya lo maté, Mom," having hidden the bloodless hatchet on the porch outside. "No tienes hambre?" my mom asked when I passed on the turkey that Thanksgiving Day. "No, no tengo mucha," I said, taking an extra serving of frijoles and tortillas. I have faked manhood ever since.